Today we'll be doing 3.4 similarity, and this is part 2. We're going to specifically talk about the scale factor today of two similar figures. And we'll be doing that using the sides of those particular figures. My objective is I can connect relationships of similar figures as it relates to length, area, or volume. So the first part of the notes, we'll see our figure and they'll ask us to scale it at a certain point. So let's look at the first question, okay? It says, draw a scaled copy of a figure A. So figure A is right here. So we see this is figure A right there that I'm circling. With a scale factor of 2. Okay, so what this means is they want us to scale, to dilate, in other words, to make this bigger by 2. Because the scale factor is 2, we're making it bigger. Okay, so I want you to recall something. If it's a scale factor, if the scale factor is greater than, it's an enlargement. Okay, so if the scale factor is greater than 1, it's an enlargement. Because the scale factor in this example is 2, I know I'm going to make a bigger image of example A, okay? So, what I'm going to do for example A is first in this original figure, I'm going to see how much each side is that I can. So this side up here at the top is 2. Okay, there's 2 units. How many units make up the other side? 1, 2, 3. 3 units. And then 3 units right here in the bottom. And this one is kind of iffy. The other side, I don't really know. That's okay. I'm just going to scale the other parts and just connect from end to end. And I should be able to drop my drawing, okay? So, it doesn't matter where you kind of start here. I'm just going to make it 2 times bigger. I'm going to make an enlargement because it says scale factor of 2. So, instead of doing 2, I'm going to double it. So 2 times 2 is 4. So I'm going to double it. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So the top is now 4 instead of 2. I'm doubling it. The side is going to be not 3, but 6. 3 times 2 gives you 6. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and stop right there. Again, I'm doubling all of the sides. The bottom one, instead of being 3, I'm going to double it. It's going to be 6 as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and that side that I didn't write a number, it's because I really don't know. Just because it's slanted, it's not very clear for the units. So all I have to do is just connect it from end to end. Okay, and it should be doubled because all of the other sides are doubled as well. Okay, so now I have 4, have 6, and I have 6. So I doubled everything, okay? So this is twice as big as figure A. Ok, hoy lo que voy a hacer es escalar imágenes o figuras. Ok, so escalar quiero decir, estoy dilatando, estoy haciendo o la figura más grande o la figura más pequeña. Ok, también hoy voy a encontrar la escalación, so ese factor. Si se hizo más grande o más pequeño, estoy buscando ese número, cuál es ese número por cuál se hizo pequeño, se hizo grande, ¿ok? So, son 2 cosas que vamos a buscar hoy. Ahorita lo que yo hice es escalar, dilatar mi figura por 2, con un factor de 2. En las direcciones me dice, usa figura A y escala con un factor de 2. So, yo no sé si se acuerdan de cuando hicimos dilataciones hace unas semanas, pero cuando es una dilatación donde el scale factor es más grande que 1, eso se llama enlargamiento, que quiere decir que la figura se está haciendo más grande de lo que era originalmente. Originalmente A tenía una medida de 2, 3 y 3, y el otro lado no lo puedo ver claramente porque está como está en un ¿cómo se dice? Slanted. Denme un segundo. Está inclinada, ¿ok? So, está inclinada a ese lado donde no tengo número. No sé exactamente cuántas unidades toma. So, yo lo voy a dejar en blanco. Aunque con que yo escale los otros lados, cuando yo conecte esos dos lados juntos, también igual se va a escalar en 2, ¿ok? Yo fue lo que hice es agarrar cada lado y multiplicarlo por esa escalación, en este caso 2. Los estoy duplicando. En vez de 2, ahora es 4. En vez de 3, son 6. ¿Ok? Yo lo dibujé usando ese guía y conecté mi lado al último. ¿Ok? Voy a hacer ejemplo 2, donde ya no es una escalación de un factor de 2, pero sino una escalación de 1 sobre 2, de una fracción esta vez, y estamos usando figura C. Okay, so I'm going to do example 2. I'm still scaling my figure, so I'm dilating, but now I'm dilating figure C. So figure C is this figure here that I'm circling. And I'm using a scale factor of 1/2. This time is a fraction. I want you to recall from a couple weeks ago, if you have a scale factor between 0 and 1, then this is called a reduction. So right now what we're going to be doing is a reduction. My figure is going to get smaller. Okay, again, why is it a reduction? Because my scale factor is 1/2. It's less than 1, but greater than 0. So this is called a reduction. Okay, 1/2, I don't know if you recall from when we did dilation, but if you have a reduction, if you're dealing with a fraction between 0 and 1, then there's two options. You can either multiply by the fraction, multiply by 1/2. So that's option 1. So multiply by 1/2. The other option, because there is another option, the one that I most always incline towards to, is instead of doing a multiplication, you'll be doing a division of that number that's in the bottom of your fraction. So you're using your denominator to divide. In this case, you will divide by that number in the bottom, which is 2, divide by 2. Okay, so you have options there that you can look at, and whichever you feel most comfortable with, that's the one that you should go by. Okay, so do as you wish. You'll still get the right answer. I'm going to divide by 2 all of the sides, just because I like to do division, and in my head it's just easier to do it instead of having to plug it in my calculator. But again, if you want to multiply by 1/2 or divide by 2, you can still use your calculator and recheck. That is fine, but you'll see me divide most of the times if it's a reduction. Okay, I just want to be clear. You have two options. This is the option that I will incline more to use. Okay, it's that division. So let's look at the image. Let's kind of count the units. So the top one, I have 2 units. So I'll write 2 there. If I count, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 going down. if I count the units right here on the bottom, it's 3. Then 2 right there. It's 1 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going down. In the base, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in the bottom. And then let's see how much I'm going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 right there. Okay, so I counted all the sides. That's what I have. I'm going to divide each part by 2 and get an answer. Again, use your calculator as much as you can if you want to. Okay, so I know that I'm going to start with 7. 7 divide 2. Well, if I go to my calculator, it gives me a decimal. It gets me 3.5. That's okay. It's not always going to be perfect. So 3.5 means I have to go 3 units and then half of the other one. So it doesn't really matter where you start. Just go ahead and start. Just kind of center it. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and then half of the other one. So 3.5. 3.5 or 3.5. Okay, so I wanted it to be straight. Since I'm doing it in my iPad, it's kind of hard sometimes. Okay, and then the side that goes to the right, it was 2 originally. So 2 divide 2 is 1. So I'm going to write 1 here. So I'm just going to go to the right and just do 1 like so. Just 1 little unit. And then I go down 4, but instead of going down 4, I'll divide that by 2 and go down 2. So 4 divided 2 is 2. So I'll do 1, 2. Be very careful. So have 1 unit and then 2 different halves that make another one. Okay, so 2. All right, and then 3 that goes across, but 3 divided 2 is 1.5. So I'm going to go all of 1 and then half of that right there. It's not perfect. Do as best as you can. And then I go up 2, but instead of going up 2, I have to divide it by 2. So 2 divided 2 is 1. So I go up 1. Half, which makes 1. I try to keep it as straight as I can. Sometimes it doesn't work. That's okay. And then instead of going 1, I'll divide that by 2 and get 1/2. So I go to the right 1/2, about there. And then instead of going down 5, I have to divide it by 2. So it'll be 2.5, half, 1.5, 2.5. Okay, so we have what we need. And so if we were to divide 6 by 2, it'll be 3. And it's already what we need. If we connect end to end, it's going to be 3. So 3, 2.5, or 2.5, whatever you want to write. This is 1/2. This is 1.5. This is 1.5 as well. Oh, sorry. This one is not 1. It's 1.5. It's just 1. Oops, I made a mistake. I don't know. Let me just go back and see what I can erase. There we go. So it's just 1. Oh my goodness. It's 1. This is 1.5. There we go. This is 2.5. And then the top one is just 1. Just going back and kind of labeling what I did. All right, and that is number 2. It's a reduction. Okay, la parte 2, número 2, hice una reducción que siempre es una fracción entre 0 y 1. En este caso es una reducción de 1 sobre 2. Hay 2 opciones, o multiplicar por 1 sobre 2, o la otra opción que tienen es dividir por 2. Yo siempre me van a ver que divido por ese número que está abajo en la fracción. En este caso es 2. En este ejemplo tuve que dividir por 2. Si ven el problema original, está más grande que el que acabo de dibujar porque se partió en 2. Es una reducción, se hizo más pequeño por 2. So, cada lado yo lo dividí entre 2. Y es lo que usaba para mi guía para dibujar mis lados. ¿Ok? So, 7 en vez de 7 lo dividí entre 2 y agarro 3.5 o 3 1 sobre 2. Es lo mismo, 3.5. ¿Ok? So me fui 3 espacios, 3 unidades y luego la mitad de otra. ¿Ok? Y entonces cada lado yo lo partí en 2. Fue lo que hice. ¿Ok? Y tengo este resultado. Okay, so I have my part A done here. Let's see what's next to do. So at the bottom, we have something else. It says the original figure and the scaled figure drawn are called similar figures. So the figures that I just drew, those are the similar figures of the original. They look very similar, but one is bigger than the other one. Okay, so we are dealing with similar figures. Oops. Okay, in part B, this is where I find the scale factors. So I'll give you the 2 drawings. Now I don't have to draw, but I have to compare the sides. Okay, so this is what's going to be set for this page and for your homework. The left image is always going to be the old image. So I'm just going to go ahead and label it old. It's the original. And the one on the right is always going to be the new one. The one that's created. Okay, so I just want you to remember the scale factor. What does it say? Well, the scale factor, if it's less than 1 but bigger than 0, this is a reduction. Please go ahead and write that down so you have that reminder. And if your scale factor is greater than 1, this is called an enlargement. All right, so if I compared the old to the new one is smaller than the original, so it got smaller for this one. Because it got smaller, I know that my scale factor is going to be a reduction. So I know my answer should be a fraction. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fill out this part because it's going to help me find what is the scale factor part. To determine the scale factor, we make a ratio or a fraction with the corresponding sides. So my SF, my scale factor, I'm going to get it using a fraction. I should have the new side at the top and the old side on the bottom. New over old. So let's look and compare. I'm going to just pick a side. It doesn't matter which one you pick. Just pick one. So I'm going to do the top one. So this is my old side, and 12 is my new side. I'm going to go ahead and form my fraction using 36 and 12. So SF, my scale factor, equals, so again, it's new side over the old side. So let's fill it in. So my scale factor, so it's new at the top. New is my 12. So 12 goes at the top. My old side is 36. So 36 goes at the bottom. Okay, so I have this fraction 12 over 36 right now. I'm going to get my calculator going. And I'm going to do alpha y equals 1. Get my fraction going there. And do 12 over 36. And I get 1 over 3. So that is my answer. 1 over 3. I want the most reduced fraction for my scale factor. So SF, my scale factor, equals 1/3. Okay, we have problem 4 and problem 5 to do and finish in this part here. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is kind of move my calculator out of the way. If I can move it. All I'm trying to do is move it out of the way. Hold on. What's happening? I can't move it out of the way, apparently. Why? Okay, there we go. Alright, let's do 4 and 5. It says the figures are similar. List corresponding angles and sides. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to find the scale factor. Okay, I'm going to do the scale factor from figure A to figure B. So, and I'm going to find the scale factor, but I'm also going to find the missing, the missing side. Okay, so I'm also going to do that part. So, this is my old, and this is my new. Make sure you label them. I'm going to use one of the sides that I do have numbers for. So I'm going to do LJ and PN. Those two are corresponding sides. Okay, they are in the same position, so they're corresponding sides. I'm going to form my fraction for my scale factor. So SF, remember it's new side over old side. That is my formula. So my new side is 20. So 20 goes at the top. And my old side is 8. Okay, I'm going to pull in my calculator and get that going. I have my calculator right there. So I'm going to just pull it in here. And zoom in. Okay. Alpha y equals 1. Okay, so I'm going to put 20 over 8. Let's see if I have it in there. Yep, enter. Okay, so it reduced this to 5 over 2. Perfect. So my scale factor is 5 over 2. So that's the first thing I wanted to find, my scale factor, okay? There's something else that they told me to find. It says find any missing sides. I'm also going to show you how to do that, okay? We've done this before, okay, in Unit 2, where we formed proportions and solved for one of the missing proportion sides. So you'll see at first it's a little bit confusing. Just make sure you put your sides where they belong, and everything is going to work out pretty well, okay? So this is my work to find X. Okay, because I am missing this side. I don't know what that is. I'm trying to figure out what that is. So if I find X, okay, I'm going to draw proportions. I'm going to do new side over the old side. I'm going to be using one of the sides that I already I used for my scale factor, so 8 and 20. And I'm going to use one of the corresponding sides where there is the missing side, okay? So the other one that I'm going to use is 10 and X. So LK and PM. Those are the ones that I don't have any corresponding side for. So it's new over old. Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to draw my proportions. So I'm going to do, so it's new over old. So I'll do NP over JL. Because it's new over old. And then in the other side, I'll do PM and LK. Right, I'm going to go ahead and just replace everything that I do know. I know N to P is 20. I know that J to L, it's 8. P to M is X. And L to K is 10. I'm just replacing here. So again, I'm doing new over old. I'm using two different corresponding sides. I'm using 8 and 20. So one of the corresponding sides that you use to make your proportions have to have numbers, okay? The other corresponding side that you use is where you have that missing side. So I used 10 and X. Okay, so I put it in my proportion. It's 20 over 8 equals X over 10. That is very important that you have the new side over the old side. So I want to point out that 20 over 8 is my grade corresponding side, and X over 10 is my red side that I labeled in my triangle. Okay, what's next? I need to do my cross multiplication. You've done this before in Unit 2, okay? So I'm going to cross multiply, or do the butterfly method, however you want to call it. Remember, you multiply the numbers that you circle. You're forming an equation. So I'm going to multiply 20 and 10. And I'm going to multiply 8 and X. So 20 times 10, use your calculator, but you should get 200 when you do that. 8 times X, you just put them together. So it forms 8X. Okay, I need to solve for X, right? Because we're finding what X is. Find X, right? That's the whole point of doing the proportions. So we can solve for that X. So 8 is in front of X. It shouldn't be there. So I'm going to get rid of it. I'll divide by 8. And I also have to do it on the other side. So 200 divide 8 is what I should be putting in my calculator. So let's pull it up and let's do that. And let's see what I said. There we go. Oh. So 200 divide 8. Oops. 200. Let me write it. 200 divide 8. What did I get? 25. And let's write that right there. 25. So X equals 25. Okay, the hard part of finding X is setting up that proportion. Everything else should be a breeze because you already know how to do this. You know how to cross multiply from Unit 2. Okay, example 5 is next. This one's just a little bit trickier because one of them is rotated, but I'll just tell you which are the corresponding sides. So I'm going to tell you that XY is the corresponding side to UV, okay? And so the left one is your old, and the right side, the right triangle, is your new one. So old and your new. Okay. So we have our image here. It's just one of them is a little bit rotated than the other, but you should be able to tell which sides are corresponding to which. XY is the longest side in your left triangle. So in your right triangle, the longest side, which is UV, should be the corresponding side to the one to the left. Okay, so we have corresponding sides. We are also looking for something. We're looking for what YZ is. Oops, and I need a highlighter. A YZ is the one that doesn't have a number. It has the letter B. So we need to figure out what that is. So B is corresponding with 4. Just kind of throwing that out there. And 30 is corresponding with the side that has 10. Let's do the easier part. Let's find the scale factor. So remember, new side over old side. So I'm just going to use the side, the corresponding side that has numbers with it. I have 30 and 10 that I could use. I could also use 24 and 8 if I wanted to, but I'm just going to use the ones that I already told you are corresponding, which are 30 and 10. So new over old. 10 is the new side. So I'm going to write 10 at the top and 30 should be in the bottom. So again, remember this is new and this is your old. So 10 over 30. This is going to reduce to a fraction, okay? So let's figure out what that is. So I'm moving my calculator in a little bit closer. Let's clear this. Okay, so let's do alpha y equals 1. Oh, I didn't do that right. Alpha y equals 1. There we go. Okay, sometimes it's kind of difficult to move around. It's just small in that area. Okay, so let's just put 10 at the top and 30 in the bottom. And let's see if we get a reduced fraction. We get 1 over 3. 1 over 3. So my scale factor is 1 over 3. Okay, so scale factor, new over old, 1 over 3. Did my reduced fraction here. All right, and my last part is finding, not x this time, but finding b, finding that variable, that missing side. So it says find b. Sorry, I need to find a color. Find b. This is my steps for finding b. I am going to do my proportions. Okay, so I'm going to do this equals that. So remember, it's always new over old for your proportions. But over here on the side, I'll do another part here. Talking about the red side, the one that has 30 and 10, the new one is 10. So UV should go at the top, and then XY should go in the bottom. So new over old, remember that. The other corresponding side is the one with the missing letter or the missing number. And it says B and 4. My new side is 4. So it should go at the top, which is WV. And my old side is YZ. Okay, so that's how I'm putting things in this proportion. Okay, it's new over old. I'm just using the corresponding sides. Maybe if I highlight this a little bit. So this is my, oh, and I did it wrong already. This is my blue side, and this is my red side. Okay, so again, 10 should be at the top. If I get my correct pen, 10 over 30. So UV over XY, 10 over 30. So new over old. And my other corresponding side is going to be 4, which is WV, over YZ, which is B. B is what I'm looking for. I am going to cross multiply now that I have this proportion going. Okay, once you have your proportion in, this is the easier part. Okay, the hard part is putting the numbers in correctly. Okay, because a lot of the times you will mix up not putting the new one at the top in the fraction, but doing it the other way. Okay, so just please be very careful. It's new side over the old side for your corresponding sides. Okay, so I have to do, well, 10 and B are multiplying, so 10 multiplying B, let's start there. And 30 multiplies with 4. Again, it doesn't matter if I put 30 times 4 in the left side of the equation and 10 times B in the right side. That's just how I chose it to write. So 10 and B, it's like they're multiplying, so I just put them together. 10B equals, well, 30 times 4 is 120 if you put it in your calculator. Okay, so 10B equals 120. I want to solve for B, so I need to divide by 10, the number in front of this variable. And I also have to do it on the right side. So 120 has to divide 10. B is left over. B equals, well, 120 divided by 10. It should give you a 12 when you put this in your calculator. So B equals 12. You do have homework. So go ahead and get started. Your homework is in your packet, okay? Good luck. Ok, so yo voy a explicar esto en español. Para los que quieren empezar su tarea que está en el paquete, pueden hacerlo. Pero yo voy a explicar un poquito más en español cómo llegué a hacer ejemplo 4 y 5. So, ejemplo 4 que tengo aquí eran triángulos, ¿verdad? So, tengo el triángulo original, que es A, y el triángulo B, que es el nuevo triángulo. So, yo voy a hacer dos cosas en este ejemplo, ¿ok? Buscar el scale factor. Y estoy encontrando el lado que no tiene número. So, el lado que no tiene número está aquí en azulito. Dice X. X es lo que quiero encontrar. Quiero saber cuál es el número que va ahí en vez de X. ¿Ok? So, ¿qué es X? Es una de mis preguntas también. Voy a empezar con lo más básico, a buscar el scale factor. So, acuérdense que hay una fórmula nuevo lado sobre lado viejo que está abajo. ¿Ok? So, el nuevo lado siempre va arriba en la fracción, el lado viejo va abajo. Ok. So, es un triángulo. Yo tengo 3 diferentes lados. Solamente van a usar 2 de los lados correspondientes. No tienen que usar todos los lados. ¿Ok? Como pueden ver, yo escogí, y es porque así lo quise yo escoger, escogí J, L y NP como lados para usar en mis lados correspondientes, ¿ok? So, este lado yo fue el que usé para hacer el scale factor. Pude haber usado 6 y 15, son lados correspondientes, son las bases, pero no lo hice, nomás porque no quise, ¿ok? Yo usé 8 y 2 y 20. Esos son los lados correspondientes, ¿ok? So, nuevo sobre viejo. 20 es el lado nuevo, so va arriba. Y 8 es el lado original, so va abajo. Yo puse esto en mi calculadora también, 20 sobre 8, y me dio 5 sobre 2. Quiero la fracción más simplificada. Ok, so mi scale factor es 5 sobre 2. Ok, Lo que está más complejo es buscar el lado que no tiene número. So, en ese caso, tengo que encontrar X. Esto es donde está un poco más complejo. Yo voy a escoger dos lados de mi triángulo que son correspondientes para hacer esto, ¿ok? Siempre acuérdense que es nuevo. Siempre es nuevo sobre viejo. So, nuevo sobre viejo. New over old. Ok, so, yo lo que hice es ver mi triángulo y buscar dos lados que van a ser correspondientes. Yo usé el que usé para mi scale factor, 8 y 20. Fue uno de los lados que quise escoger. So, lo que tienen que saber es que uno de los lados que usen que van a ser correspondientes tienen que ser lados que tengan números. So, 8 y 20 fue lo que yo escogí. El otro lado correspondiente que usen tiene que ser el que lleva esa letra, ¿ok? So, 10 y X tenían que ser el otro lado correspondiente porque es el lado correspondiente que llevan X, ¿ok? So, X y 10 son los lados correspondientes. So, yo usé el que está en como gris y el que está en rojito, esos lados que son correspondientes. Y formé mi proporción, ¿ok? Yo acá nomás arribita lo que hice es como nombrar los lados que iba a estar usando para reemplazar. Nomás para que fuera un poquito más claro. Hice 20 sobre 8 porque es el lado en grisecito. Nuevo sobre viejo. Y la fracción en rojito es el lado correspondiente que tengo aquí en rojo en mi dibujo. So, nuevo sobre viejo, so X sobre 10. Okay, lo que va a ser difícil aquí es saber si pongo 10 arriba o X abajo, dónde lo pongo. Acuérdense, siempre es el nuevo lado sobre el lado viejo. Es en ese orden específico que tenemos que poner nuestras cosas en la fracción. Ok, y para resolver por X, esto ya lo hemos hecho antes en unidad 2. Estamos haciendo la multiplicación de los cruces. So, cross multiplication. Ok, so esto lo hicimos en unidad 2. Lo acabamos de hacer. Ok, 20 y 10 se multiplican. Son los que yo circule, esas diagonales se multiplican. Y resolvemos por la letra, que en este caso es X. Y agarré que X es 25. Algo muy similar hice para el número 5. Busqué el scale factor. En vez de encontrar X, encontré la letra B, find B. Okay. Lo único medio chistoso en este problema es que uno de los triángulos está como que rotado. So, yo tenía que ver y buscar dónde o cuál era los lados correspondientes. Okay. Yo deduje que XY es correspondiente con V. Okay, porque en el triángulo que está a la izquierda, XY es el lado que yo veo que está un poquito más largo, que está más larguito que todos los demás. Y V es el que se ve más larguito que todos los demás lados. So, yo dije, esos tienen que ser correspondientes. ¿Ok? So, 30 y 10 son lados correspondientes. Y B y 4 son otro lado correspondiente. Y fueron los lados que usé para hacer mis proporciones y buscar B. Ok, 10 y 30 sobre 4 sobre B. Y resolví. Ok, so, ustedes tienen tarea en su paquete. Por favor, empiecenla. Y mucha suerte. Hagan sus preguntas, por favor, si las tienen.